Within sociology, ritual crimes have been studied within relation to ritual abuse and religious beliefs. Ritual abuse has been recognized as a spiritual and/or sexual assault on an unwilling victim which causes psychological and/or physical harm. Its purpose is to fulfill a prescribed ritual by a person or more likely by a group of people. The term ritual is often found to be difficult to define as it can be applied to many disciplines. Rituals can often be associated with positive outcomes and benefits, whereas when applied to crime, rituals are seen to be a deviant ambiguity to society. The negative outcomes of such rituals have caused many moral panics in the media and scapegoating of the individuals involved. Ritual crimes have been associated with religion as it often involves religious beliefs justifying their ritual activities. Ritualistic practices date back to ancient Egyptian religion when pharaohs and nobles would sacrifice the lives of their own servants for religious purposes. The Egyptians used what was named as the retainer sacrifice, in which the pharaoh would have their servants killed after the pharaoh's death so that they would continue to serve them in the afterlife. The pharaoh's subjects viewed the pharaoh as a living god and to be the king of eternity when they would pass away. The thought of the pharaoh being in the next life without any luxury was unthinkable and caused much anxiety. Due to this distress, his subjects' lives would be sacrificed for his service and ease in the afterlife. Satanic ritual abuse is one of the most commonly known forms of ritualistic crimes that claim their deviant practices are for religious purposes. The aim of SRA's abuse would be to satisfy the needs of what they believed was the Christian devil, by often sacrificing others' lives and consuming their internal organs after. Satanic cult members have been widely known to sexually molest, torture, and even murder children in order to complete their prescribed ritual and to reinforce their satanic religious beliefs. Satanism was the subject of moral panic in the 80s to the late 90s, but has been a topic in the media more recently. As many of you will know, Jimmy Savile has currently been found guilty to a number of child sexual assaults. What many people don't know is that some of these were influenced by his satanic beliefs. The 13-year-old victim of Savile's assaults was found to be part of the satanic ritual. The teenage girl was tied to an altar and raped by the former TV presenter as part of the Satanism group's ritual. The victim was blindfolded and taken to an unknown location where the Satanists made her wear a white cloak with nothing on underneath, ready for the ritual. The Sunday Express reported that she was too traumatized at first to tell the police, but later reported it after two other satanic rape cases involving Savile were revealed, one of which was a 21-year-old, the other was a 12-year-old girl. Another case was in 2010 where a couple were jailed for the killing of the 15-year-old Christy Bammy. Eric Beckerby and Magali Bammy were convicted of murdering Magali's younger brother over the Christmas holidays. The couple drowned Christy in their bath in London after days of torture as they believed him to be a witch. Due to their fears of the boy being under the influence of witchcraft, this led them to cause 130 injuries to Christy prior to his ritual cleansing in their flat.
Christy Barmu had travelled with his siblings from their home in France to spend the 2010 Christmas holidays at the home of their eldest sister Magali and her partner Eric Bakubi. When Christy wet himself inside the flat, they became convinced he was a witch and used an armoury of weapons to exorcise the evil spirits. There were various knives, a hammer, metal bars, wooden poles and various tools that were left heavily blood-stained. They twisted his ears with these pliers, and this bag of ceramic tiles was smashed over the teenage boy. For 4 days up there on the 8th floor, the children weren't allowed to eat, sleep or drink. They were forced to pray and take part in what was a sadistic ritual that was under the guise of deliverance. In the final act, the children were all forced into the bath. Christy was so badly injured, he simply couldn't keep his head above water.
What took place in Hathaway Crescent went way beyond anything that we've seen before, but deliverances are taking place in the UK, and people are being accused of witchcraft and being delivered from that witchcraft in the UK. That's not to say that they're anything like what happened here in this flat, but they are happening.
The blood-stained mop showed there was an attempt to try and hide what happened here. But you can't hide from the fact that witchcraft is still part of modern Britain, and it's being used as an excuse to abuse children. Tom Parmenter, Sky News.
Applying ritual crime to social theory, Durkheim's ideas of a consensus in society could be used to understand why it happens. Emil Durkheim's theory of totemism explains how collective symbols engage people together to form a collective consciousness and a sense of community. The satanic symbol can be applied to this social theory as it reinforces Satanism's set of shared beliefs and moral attitudes. The satanic ritual could be viewed by Durkheim as a form of collective consciousness, where the ritual practices unite the group together, or as a form of religious worship. This ideology of a shared belief system is linked to what Durkheim theorized as social solidarity. Durkheim believed that rituals were essential in traditional pre-modern society. This is what he defined as being mechanical solidarity. This form of solidarity revolved around a sense of similarity and consciousness of unity and community. Another theory which analyzes the origin to ritual crimes is the subcultural theory. Built upon the work of Merton strain theory, which suggests society may pressure citizens to commit crimes, subcultural theorists suggest that deviance is a result of conforming to values and norms of a social group to which they belong to. These groups are defined as subcultures. A group that's values and morals differ from the ones of mainstream society, which are commonly perceived to be deviant. Cloward and Owen's theory of subculture suggests that people join subcultures to obtain alternative, achievable goals as they fail to accomplish the mainstream culture's typical goals. Their idea of criminal subcultures could clarify why ritual criminals practice their beliefs. Cloward and Owen could suggest that ritual abuse is how the individuals gain some form of prosperity. This theory could imply that, for example, in Satanism, Satan acts as a criminal role model or charismatic leader who is influential on his followers to execute his deviant notions and morals. Adding this theory, Freud would argue how rituals are used to create prosperity by decreasing levels of anxiety, by increasing positive emotions and a sense of achievement. This notion that Freud had would be best described as rituals being a form of catharsis. By this, Freud simply suggested that this ritual of cleansing diminished negative thoughts. However, it also displayed obsessive actions and compulsive behavior, which implied how ritualists could gain some sense of control in their life through ritual practices. Freud's thoughts on obsessive behavior correlates well to the understanding of rituals, as both display an individual's high need of obsessive behavior to keep their sense of achievement and ease in order. So, what can we conclude from all of this? We can understand a broad meaning of what ritual crime is, but yet there is still a debate on its official definition. We can study the history of rituals and how they've evolved and adapted over time and culture, identify different cases and forms of rituals and learn about how they can derive from religion, and we can apply social theory into our understanding as to why these crimes become essential to some people's daily lives.